Hello everyone, I am back today with another process video working on my photos from New York. So these are 6x8 pocket pages still. I have my photo here and my two cards that I think I'm going to use. But what I want to show you first is this is the layout. I did this one first obviously, but this is the layout I did in my last process video. Now, when this is in the album, this is what will sit on the left-hand side of the page. This is what will be on the right side. They're not related, so they don't need to match or anything, but I have an insert in between, and I've already done the inserts. I want to show that as well. So this is the insert. So really, before I even get to that one, these will sit like this. So this will be in between the left and right-hand side page. So I just have a picture of a subway stop that I had to use when I was coming out of the airport at JFK and then making my way to Grand Central Terminal. I had to take the air train, which is what gets you out of the airport at JFK. And then I needed to take two different trains after that. So it was an adventure, and the whole thing took me like an hour and a half. It was only supposed to take an hour, but both trains were running behind once I got out of the airport. And so it ended up taking an hour and a half. But this was my first stop. So I just had a picture of the subway station there, and I put a sticker on it. And then this was just journaling, talking about how I had to leave the airport and had the two transfers and all of that. So those go together. Then if it's sitting like this, you'll flip over. This will be the other part of the insert. This was just a very cool art mosaic piece that was within the subway system. As I was walking, it caught my eye, and I stopped and took pictures of it. I thought it was so bright. You know, a lot of the underground subway stations are really kind of dingy and dark and dim, but this one just seemed like it lit the place up down there, and so I had to take photos of it. So I did that, and then I just put on a little label there that says Urban Explorer. I did stamp that. That is from, I think it's a set by Kelly Perky, and it actually says Explorers, plural, but I was by myself, so I just chose not to ink the S and made it singular. So I have that. So here's how it'll go in the book, and then this one will be on this side. Now that we've gotten that part out of the way, this should be a fairly straightforward layout. I've got two 3x4 pockets and a 4x6. I want to use this photo as the 4x6 because this is part of the transportation, just as I was doing before. Now I've moved on to the 7 train, which was the second train that would take me to Grand Central. I found this card in one of the kits I bought and thought it was perfect because not only does it show, subway lines, but it has purple in it. And it's quite hard to find scrapping stuff with purple. And I love purple, and even I don't have a lot of it. So I wanted to make sure that I used something that would match. So there's the purple. And then I think this is the card I'm going to use for my journaling, simply because there's gold here and there's gold here. It is a little bit bright for me for my normal taste, but I think it'll work here, and I'll just be fine with it. I am thinking I need to do something over here because this kind of has a built-in label space where I can either stamp or write or do something, but there's nothing here, and this is just kind of dead space. It's just the platform. There's nothing exciting happening there. So I'll probably have to do something in that corner. I had to move my camera a little bit because I have a weird light situation going on. It's late morning, and this is how it's coming in through the window. And I don't have a bunch of extra lamps and things that I can use. So I'm just going to kind of use this tiny little swatch of light here if I can. But continuing on with this layout anyway, I was off camera for quite a bit trying to go through my stash and find some stuff that would work for down here. And what I think I've come up with is just doing a couple of phrases over here. So I have this, which is from Pretty Little Studio, I believe. They're just word stickers here and phrases. So I think I'm going to do here to there because it's gray, which will definitely match this kind of silver gray of the subway car. And then I could do journey because there is some pink in here, so that would work. They're about the same color, I think. And then I'm wondering about this now boarding. It's kind of this darker blue. Let me get up to the camera here. God, this lighting is just horrible. I apologize for that. But this one, because there is a little bit of blue here, one of these lines are blue here, and then it's kind of hard to see, but there is an American flag in this photo, and so there's a little bit of blue there. So I'm going to try it and hope that it works together how I think it will. So I have applied the stickers down here, and I do like the way that looks, because when you put this up next to it, you can see, trying to get into the light here, that those colors match these colors. So I think it's enough to draw it all in anyway. Look at, now the light's moving over here. I can't win today. Doing the best I can here. All right, so that's what I have. I have to figure out, I think I'm going to stamp here. I just don't know what, because I am going to journal here. I don't need to journal again, something over here. So I'm going to stamp something there, maybe adventure or transportation or something. I don't know. I'll look through all my stuff and see what I have, and then journaling will be last. I have decided I'm going to stamp here, and I'm going to use this set. This is actually from Gossamer Blue. They are no longer in business, sadly. But I love the stamps that I have, so I'm going to use them. So I'm going to use this one, but I'm not going to ink the everyday. I'm just going to ink the part that says adventure, because it will be perfectly sized to the space that I have. So I've just stamped the word adventure in there. Now I gotta clean off my block here. I'm very happy with how that turned out. It always makes me nervous to ink only part of a stamp. And on this one, sometimes, I'll just use a marker, like a Stampin' Up! Marker or something to do it. But when it's an even edge like this one, I try to just take my stamp pad and just stamp it only part of the way, which is what I did here. And then I always do a test to make sure that I haven't caught the edges anywhere. So here was my test. So I knew I had inked it correctly, and then I just put it on the card. So I try not to make things any harder than they need to be when I'm working on my scrappy projects. So that's just the way I do it. It's certainly fine to just use a marker, and sometimes I would if I had it readily available, but they're put away. So it's just easier to do the trick with the ink pad. As I was thinking about what else I could do with this card, I thought maybe I'll bring in more black, because this looks pretty kind of in your face here. And I mean, there's black here, but it's not quite as bold as that. So I decided, well, I'll look through my stuff of all of my, like random word phrases and things like that. And I actually came across this one, and it just says, "She smiled." I think this is from an old Citrus Twist kit that I had. I used to subscribe to them, and I think this came from them. And I think I'm just going to put it right here and put a staple in, because when I journal, I want to say, it was the last train or the last leg of really starting my next New York adventure. And I was happy. I was smiling. I was excited. I was ready to go. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I did adhere the phrase here, and now I'm just going to put in some mini staples here on each side. There we go. And I think that one is done. So let's put it all in the page protector and see how it looks. And I will do my journaling later. I'm just going to do that off camera, because I have an idea of what I want to say, but I don't have the exact words yet, so I need to think about that. We've got the upper stuff in here, the cards, and then there's with the photo. And I'm pleased with how the colors worked out. I was a little nervous because this is quite bold and bright on how, I was going to make that all work together, but I think it came out well. I think it looks, like a cohesive design. So we'll just zoom in here so you can see it close up. That's it. This one was quite fun and quite fast, which is always a bonus. So thanks for being here today and watching along as I put this all together. Thanks, everybody.